Alright. Okay, I've been trying to make this bloody video over and over again. My computer keeps having problems. So, I thought I'd make a video talking about, or addressing my last video and basically the stuff involved with that. Basically what happened is I saw a doctor, and what I experienced basically was apparently a sort of psychotic episode. Um, I was having hallucinations, seeing things, hearing things, feeling things that weren't real. Obviously, as I mentioned, very clearly. Now, I experienced these strange things, and I knew that they were strange and disturbing. So, to a degree, I was conscious of what was happening, and so that's kind of completely contradictory. Like when someone is supposedly psychotic, they're like disconnected from reality completely. So I saw that hand that was waving at me. I wouldn't think, oh look, that's strange. Why would someone be waving at me and walk up to it and try to rationalize it? I would respond to the stimuli directly rather than being able to assess it. So in that regard, I don't think I was psychotic, but then, it's all really just semantics and labeling, so and that's really not even the point of my video here. I just want to explain that what I experienced compared to a lot of people who have psychosis or schizophrenia or an illnesses involving any sort of psychosis, it's just, that was nothing compared to what a lot of people experience on like a regular basis. And I have no idea how you do it. If anyone is watching this that has to deal with it, seriously, like, honestly, props if you can even have a job and like function at all, because I was having trouble, even doing simple things, and what I was experiencing wasn't even, it's not like I wasn't being clawed at by a demon. Like, yeah, okay, so I'll just get into it a little bit. Psychosis, there are different types of hallucinations and delusions. In terms of hallucinations, you can have visual hallucinations, audio hallucinations, tactile hallucinations. Sometimes people even have taste and smell hallucinations. Now, what I was experiencing obviously was visual and tactile. I was also having auditory ones, but mainly the one that was, I think, disturbing me the most. Well, not maybe disturbing me the most, but was the most problematic, was the tactile hallucinations, because I was trying to go to bed and there's stuff poking me from like under my bed, so it kind of complicates things. So, because I mean, if there's a hand waving at you, you can roll over and be like, it doesn't exist, tell yourself it in your mind over and over and over again. But if something's poking you from under your bed, it's kind of like, it's harder to be like, no, it doesn't exist, no one is under my bed, no one is poking me. A little bit, for me, I found it a little bit more complicated. So now, apparently what I experienced was a psychotic episode, because I was having psychosis, having hallucinations. However, something that is kind of implied with psychosis is it is break from reality, and due to the fact that I was aware that things were strange to a degree, means that by definition I wasn't psychotic, but I was hallucinating. So anyway, fact of the matter is, it's kind of irrelevant. The semantics of it. I'll eventually make a video where I rant about labels in general, how I think that they're very useful in a lot of ways, and how I think they can fuck things up in other strange and fucked up ways. So, yeah, yeah, so that was kind of what I wanted to say, was what I experienced was disturbing, and yes, I had hallucinations, but compared to a lot of people, that was absolutely nothing. And the way I dealt with it personally, which isn't the same way a lot of other people would have dealt with it, was that I was able to text my friend, who then told me, you should not be alone tonight. which I, of course, just I'm just I have an authority problem. I'll just state that. And so when someone tells me I need to ask for help, yeah, I did it because my friend, suggested me to do that, and she's the most rational person I know. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why went and called the helpline, and found it was actually extremely helpful. And I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I decided to get over my ego and just do it because it was really useful. So, yeah, I know that everyone's different, but for some people, doing that kind of thing can be helpful, because for me, it kind of just being able to talk to someone allowed me to sort of not dwell so much on the things that were occurring in the moment that I found very distressing. So I suppose that it was useful on several levels. On one level, it was just simply distracting, which of course was helpful, as I just mentioned. On another level, a little bit more, I want to say kind of more profound level, kind of, I felt as though when I was speaking to this person, I had to, when I, you have to make sense when you're having a conversation. Otherwise, it's just, there's no connection. So due to the fact that I had to make an effort to make a connection in order to, have a conversation with this person at all, I was forced to think in a sort of linear way, adjacent to the scattered, crazy way that I felt was happening in my head. I don't know if that made any sense whatsoever, but basically talking to someone on the phone, listening to them say things sequentially, logically, in a reasonable manner, allowed me to view, that it's necessary to assess things in such a way and ignore other things, because other things don't matter. The hallucinations are not real. They didn't matter. That's the main thing, because in the moment when they were happening, I thought they were just overwhelming. And they were, I suppose, in terms of the anxiety I was feeling as a result of them, made them very significant. But in truth, in all reality, they were not, because they weren't real. Obviously, they're not significant. So why should I respond to something that's not real? It's completely irrational. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd make this because, to express what I experienced I found disturbing and distressing. However, this is something that is so incredibly mild that I watched that video again, and I'm just like, oh my god, seriously? Because I've read about that. People with schizophrenia have to deal with stuff like, like people clawing at their feet, having to walk around with bloody feet, in pain because the hallucinations are, tactile. Mine, I felt things poking me, but it wasn't causing me physical pain. So if anyone has a psychotic disorder, schizophrenia, or something along those lines, if they have certain coping mechanisms, the ones that I just mentioned is what worked for me. If you could put in the comments, that might be really, really helpful. My next video, I'm going to try to find a video or a show or something, hopefully quite recent in sort of popular culture, featuring psychosis in any way, and discuss it. And yeah. So, hopefully this video made sense, because I'm